All right, now a bunch of follow-ups on stories we've been keeping an eye on here at RFL. Let's bring Andrew back for that.
And Rich, we begin in New York. Circus-like atmosphere today as Anthony Weiner hit the pavement for the first day of his newly hatched mayoral campaign. Weiner mobbed by reporters as he tried to connect with voters. He began his trek in Harlem, then jumped onto the subway and popped out onto the streets of Lower Manhattan, trailed at all times by those reporters. His official campaign announcement came yesterday in the form of a slickly produced video. And today, Weiner spelled out his rationale for running for mayor in a Daily News op-ed. Quote, "I understand that I may not be the perfect messenger. I have made some big mistakes that I may spend a lot of time apologizing for on the campaign trail, but I hope that even New Yorkers who would never vote for me will join me in making sure that the campaign for the future mayor of this city is a full-throated debate about real solutions." One more Weiner-related note, another online image causing headaches for the now mayoral candidate, though not the kind of image you might be thinking of. Take a good look at the skyline that's embedded into the blue image surrounding Weiner's campaign logo. It's also on his website. Look familiar? Then you may be from Pittsburgh. Turns out the Weiner for Mayor team somehow used a stock image of the Pittsburgh skyline instead of New York's. No reaction from the Weiner team to that discovery. To Albany now, where a growing number of newspaper editorial boards are calling for the resignation of Assembly Speaker Sheldon Silver. Silver, who has been the Assembly's top Democrat for 20 years, taking heat for his protection of disgraced former member and accused sexual harasser Vito Lopez. Though Albany insiders pointing out Silver's influence is so far-reaching and his critics have been so penalized in the past that there's little movement and less hope that Silver will either lose his leadership post or step down. Silver accused by some of shielding Lopez, who you're now seeing, even after word of his sexual harassment and improper behavior with female staffers came up. Silver also being slammed for paying one Lopez accuser to settle her suit against the Assembly, a deal that in essence shut her up. And today, a former Assembly staffer is saying she's seen this pattern from Silver before. Elizabeth Crothers, who in 2001 worked as a legislative staffer at age 21, says Silver essentially turned a blind eye when she accused Silver's chief counsel, Michael Boxley, of rape. Silver put out a statement at the time backing Boxley and did not apologize to Crothers until 2008. Crothers saying of the Lopez story and of Silver's handling of it, quote, "We've seen this show before. It's just on repeat." Other news now, the Boy Scouts voting today to allow openly gay members. The group's leadership voting at a conference today. The Scouts will continue to ban adult gay Scout leaders. Bans on gay membership has been allowed thanks to a pair of Supreme Court rulings. Scout troops are organized by outside groups, 70% of which are faith-based. The Scouts have also justified ban on gay members by referring to their oath, which includes a reference to keeping oneself morally straight. The BSA has long interpreted homosexuality as being in conflict with the phrase morally straight. As the military tries to deal with a series of messes over sexual assaults and harassment, a new black eye from West Point. Sergeant First Class at the Military Academy, Michael McClendon, now accused of videotaping female cadets in the bathroom and in the shower. Last month, the head of the Air Force sexual assault program was arrested for fondling a woman in a parking lot. And the Pentagon now estimates 26,000 women in the military were sexually assaulted last year alone. Finally, New Yorkers are increasingly on camera, and a new study suggests they're smiling for those cameras. New Q poll asks if New Yorkers support an increase in surveillance camera usage. 82% responded yes. New York already among the leaders in surveillance camera use, especially well-known sections like Times Square are particularly covered. Surveillance cameras helped speedily identify the Times Square bomber, but there are concerns that increases in their use equals an erosion in people's rights, a trade-off that poll suggests that New Yorkers are increasingly comfortable with. And yesterday, we asked you at home to sound off on Weiner's candidacy. Here was our question for you. Weiner for mayor, can he overcome the scandal? We got some reaction from you from our Facebook and Twitter pages. Want to share some of that with you now. Bob Bryce wrote in, Sanford did, referring to Mark Sanford in South Carolina winning his House seat. So why not? If he has something to offer, he should be considered. Ray Montano responding with, what makes anyone believe he can be trusted? New York has way too much money for him to be in control of. Sharon Carbine wrote in on Twitter to say, I wouldn't give him a second of my time. And finally, our friend Owen Flanagan wrote in to say, Weiner is endowed with the dignity of a Paul Ryan, that is to say the gravitas of a sophomoric frat boy. Always phrased ever so carefully from our fans. Rich?
Thank you very much, Andrew. All right, I want you folks to stick around because when we come back, With Memorial Day right around the corner, we've decided to honor a fallen American serviceman. We remember the sacrifices and what this holiday coming up is really about. The men and women who have made those ultimate sacrifices all for our nation. The story of one of Long Island's own. That's straight ahead, so stay with us.